situated in the very heart of England, may justly be called the Mecca of the literary world. This little market town lies in full sight of the green and rolling Cotswold Hills, beside the river Avon, which winds in leisurely placidity between banks fringed with overhanging willows. This very riverside and its beautiful surroundings were the direct source of much of William Shakespeare's inspiration. Of the two bridges which span the Avon, this one has no claim to antiquity except that it carried one of the first tramways in England. But further upstream is the venerable bridge of 14 pointed arches. It was built in the reign of Henry VII by one Sir Hugh Clopton, a benefactor to the town, who became London's Lord Mayor in 1491. But a stone's throw from this bridge is one of the ancient markets for cattle and horses, and on the left of it can be seen the White Swan, William Perrott's tavern in Shakespeare's time, a fine timbered building of about 1450. Quite close are many other fine timbered houses built in Elizabethan and Jacobean times, many of which were the homes of Shakespeare's intimate friends. In this street, John Shakespeare, an obscure glover by trade, welcomed the babe who was to make his name live amongst the world's immortals, and caused pathways to his house to be beaten by pilgrims of poesy from the remotest parts of the earth. It was in the front room over the entrance that Will Shakespeare was born on April the 23rd, 1564, and the room has been preserved practically unchanged down to the present time. Through this window he first saw the light of day and made his voice heard for the first time, although there's no he differed little from other infants. Neighbors and passers-by took small notice of the babe's yells, little dreaming that soon the whole world would mark and cherish his every word. 4 of the 10 rooms in the house are used now as a museum, and the oak beams from the forest of Arden are as sound today as they were when felled 400 years ago. Four of the rooms possess the great open fireplaces, characteristic of the Elizabethan home. In front of these, when the huge logs flamed and sparked, the young Shakespeare sat and dreamed his dreams. In this garden, where he spent his youthful days, now grow the flowers of field, hedgerow, and wood, which he endued with a perpetuity of delight by the magic wand of his most enchanting verse. Daffodils that come before the swallow dares, violet dim, but sweeter than the lids of Juno's eyes, pale primroses that die unmarried, bold oxlips and the crown imperial, lilies of all kinds, these I lack, sweet friend, to make you garlands of. From his home in Henley Street, the young poet would daily pass this venerable chapel of the Guild of St. Mary on his way to the ancient grammar school, where he gained that education which afterwards enabled him to put to full use the powers of his mighty genius. If one's respect for old age is great, one must surely walk bareheaded through Stratford streets. This house was built by the grandparents of John Harvard, who founded the famous American university which bears his name. Away across the fields lies the scene of Shakespeare's courtship, the hamlet of Shottery, which still preserves the charm and fragrance of his Elizabethan England. Here, surrounded by gardens and orchards, stands Anne Hathaway's cottage, from which the youthful Shakespeare wooed and won his wife. It is a thatched farmhouse of the Elizabethan period, and much of the furniture, including the famous courting settle, belonged to the Hathaway family. This old house, made beautiful by time and hallowed by the memories of our greatest poet, is one of the most priceless possessions of the English-speaking peoples. Here can I sit alone, unseen of any, and to the nightingale's complaining notes, tune my distresses and record my woes. Maybe the lovelorn poet conceived such lines as those when walking across these very fields to the old village of Wilmcote, away from his love to the home of his mother, Mary Arden, the daughter of a well-connected country squire. The building is a fine example of a Gothic manor house, dating from the 15th century. These scenes of great rural beauty left vivid impressions on the poet's mind, and he speaks of them with rare depth of feeling, nor was he less rapturous about the river. The bank where the wild thyme grows lies but a little way downstream. Cuckoo buds of yellow hue and lady smocks all silver white still paint the riverside meadows with colour, while great elms with their crown of rookeries shade the walks. When success had crowned the poet's labours in the London theatres, it was to Stratford that he returned to settle down in peaceful retirement, not far from the spot where he was born. It is but natural that his supreme genius should have been commemorated in his native town. This memorial fountain in the Rother Market was the gift of an American citizen. In a niche in the wall of the town hall is a beautiful leaden statue presented by David Garrick, a replica of the memorial statue in the Poets' Corner of Westminster Abbey. But the most imposing and effective memorial is undoubtedly that which is now erected on the banks of the Avon, within sight of the venerable church, which contains his grave and monument. Amid these beautiful riverside surroundings, the Memorial Theatre was erected in 1887, and its objects were to maintain an annual celebration in the poet's honor and to provide a series of performances of his plays. In 1926, it was destroyed by fire, but phoenix-like, it rose again from its ashes in the modern form you now see. These play festivals, which run throughout the spring and summer seasons, attract thousands of pilgrims to Shakespeare's shrine. His works are a spiritual monument to his own and to Britain's world-lighting flame of poesy, which burns undimmed before the peoples of the earth. To gild refined gold, to paint the lily, to throw a perfume on the violet, or add another hue unto the rainbow, or with taper light to seek the beauteous eye of heaven to garnish, is wasteful. And so let music end my story.